Hello, folks. As usual, I'm going to read to you the last 7 daily inspirational messages, the titles, and then you guys can pick one and we can go from there. Okay, here they are. Offering our past self gratitude instead of judgment, releasing our personal blocks to the awareness of love, letting go of the ego's illusionary idea of failure, returning to the state of oneness, undoing the ego's thought system, merging into oneness, and feeling free to feel your feelings. Any of those titles interest?
I like the one about removing the impediments,
Okay.
but they all sound good. If somebody else likes something better.
Let's see. Is it releasing our personal blocks to the awareness of love? Is it that one?
Yes.
Or letting go of the illusionary idea of failure?
No, it was the first one.
First one? Okay. Okay, so this one's going to be the June 17th. Let me write this down. June 17th, a daily inspirational message. The condensed version is 2 paragraphs long. I'll go ahead and read it and then make a couple comments and then we can go from there. All right. It's 2 paragraphs. Paragraph 1. If God is love and all, then all is love. Anything that is in opposition to love is therefore, in truth, a false concept, not real. Today, let us refer to these false concepts as blocks to our awareness of the presence of love in our life. Judging self and others, anger, frustration, anxiousness, resentment, and hate are all energetic representations and manifestations of these blocks. Since we were babies, we have been programmed by other egos to believe that these false concepts or blocks are real, necessary, proper, and true. In fact, because of our programming, our first response is usually to align with the ego's mindset. Today, let us not put ourselves or others down for simply acting, in quotes, like who we've been programmed by the ego to be. Instead, let us learn to recognize when our programmed self, not our true loving self, is in control. Paragraph 2. Today, let us practice recognizing the signs of the blocks to our awareness of love's presence. Any thought, word, emotion, or action that seems to be in opposition to our loving nature acts as a block that obscures our light. When our light is blocked, we begin to believe that the darkness is a part of who we are. Today, let us practice catching ourselves as quickly as possible when we find ourselves representing the darkness. Then let us stop investing our time, focus, and energy in this illusionary losing proposition. Through forgiveness, let us let go of our misperceptions. Then let us make the conscious choice to return to representing the loving light in us. The more we practice doing so, the less time we will spend in the darkness. The less time we spend in darkness, the more time we will spend representing and sharing our light, our loving nature, end of paragraph 2. And that's the June 17th condensed version, releasing our personal blocks to the awareness of love. Okay, so basically what we're doing in this daily inspiration is, okay, hello Christina and hello Joy. We're doing the June 17th daily inspiration, the condensed version. Okay, so situation A happens. Whatever that may be, it could be 100 stories, and they're all in essence the same because they're all in essence not real or true when we react to it through the ego's lens. Okay, and so yes, there are situations that we've been triggered in such a way that we react with anger or frustration or anxiousness or resentment or fear or doubt or shame or guilt. Okay, now when we act, and that's in quotes, act in quotes, when we act that way, It's not because we are bad, not spiritual enough, not whatever enough. It's simply because we've been programmed to react to those type of situations in that type of manner. Okay? So you're just reacting as you've been programmed to react when you react in an unloving fashion to any person, place, or thing or situation. Okay? So don't punish yourself for being in alignment with the ego's mindset. When you find yourself there, just stop for a second. Okay, wait a second. I'm not responding to person A or B or situation A or B in a loving manner. Okay, what does that mean? It means that the ego and my past programs are in control of my thinking right now. So if my ego is in control of my thinking, then it's in control of my mind, and therefore it's in control of my life. Okay, so just practice recognizing when you're not in control of your own thoughts. When your thoughts are unloving in nature, you're not in control. If the ego's in control, your past programs are in control. So you recognize, okay, I'm reacting with anger, frustration, anxiousness, resentment, hate, jealousy, fear, doubt, shame, guilt. This is a program. Let me stop that program now. Okay. So you consciously recognize you're out of alignment with your true nature, which is love. Okay. When you stop putting your time, focus, and energy into those delusions, into the fairy tale, because if you invest in the fairy tale, you make the fairy tale seem real. Okay. If you read a kid a fairy tale over and over again, he or she's going to believe it more and more that it's actually real. Okay. So you stop putting your time, focus, and energy into that. You consciously align with love, which means you align with the opposite emotion of what the ego is demanding. So if the ego is demanding judgment, how do you respond? You stop. You recognize judgment is not what you're there to do. And then you offer the opposite of what the ego is demanding, which is the opposite of judgment. It could be forgiveness or compassion or mercy or grace. Okay. And then you act from the place of love, from the place of peace, and you offer that. So it's a very simple, like 3-step process. You recognize you're out of alignment. You stop investing your time, focus, and energy into it. You align with the energy of love that the moment seems to be requesting, and you be that love. And that's the simplicity of this process, is that this is a response to the thousands of stories the ego is going to send your way. These 3 little steps are the way to peace. And the ego's going to throw 1,000 stories at you in 1,000 different manners. It's going to say, well, only somebody who's so freaking spiritual, who spends his life in the Himalaya mountains, can respond to these 1,000 problems in a proper manner. It's only 3 steps, guys. 3 little steps to peace. No matter what the ego says or throws your way. Okay? So being spiritual, it's not as hard as it looks. Being peaceful is not as hard as it looks to the ego, okay? I'm just a normal guy. It's just like everybody else is. I'm not some spiritual guru. I just do these little 3 steps. And I stop putting my energy into the delusion. And so if I can have peace, you can have peace. And no matter what situation the ego says you cannot have peace, that's a lie. Remember, everything the ego says is a lie. Okay? So it's not hard to be who God created you to be. Okay? This is not rocket science, no matter what the ego says. This is not rocket science. You're simply being who God created you to be. Okay? So when the ego puts these blocks of anger, resentment, jealousy, hate, shame, guilt, and all that CRAP, okay, it's just that. It's a story. It's the fog. Okay. When you're traveling through a fog, especially when you know your way back home, you're not afraid of the fog. My good old days when I used to live in Venezuela, in the Venezuelan mountains, and every night when I came back from work, I would have to drive through the fog, and I couldn't see like 10 feet in front of me to get to my home. No big deal. I already knew the curves. Never bothered me. And you just put your lights on low and you drive through. And so it's just no matter what the ego throws your way, it's just a little silly trick. And it's only the time that you invested in the story that makes the story seem hard to release yourself from. Okay, these are like spiritual chains that you have because of your past. They're easily broken. They're easily broken when you align with the truth in you and share only the truth in you as true, and support only the truth in you as true. Okay, any comments, questions in regards to releasing blocks to peace? Releasing our personal blocks.
Hi, James.
Hey, Joy.
I have something that's been blocking my peace, and I've been trying hard to unblock it, and I seem to be caught in a loop.
Okay.
I'm from the Philippines, and my husband is from China. And we've been living in the Philippines for the 5 years during the pandemic and a little bit after the pandemic. So we relocated back to China because we've been gone here for a long time, and it's my husband's turn. So our kids, they're 13 and 15. um they're they're going to school here in China, and they're very, very miserable. They drag their feet uh going to school. It's just miserable. And I've been wanting to um convince my husband uh, to we they should go to school in the Philippines. uh and but the thing is, I understand why my husband wants to be here and for them, and I understand why my children want to go back to the Philippines. I see both sides, but my mind is losing peace over, oh, but I need to convince my husband, and then or oh, how I wish that preference thing. And I'm trying to discipline myself. No preference, no likes, just accept. But it's just also a voice saying, Wait, why are you going to accept when you believe this way about education? Blah, 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 blah. So it's kind of like I've been that way. And I said, every time I attend your course, I say, okay, I can do this. I can do this. I can apply what James is saying. And then I find myself, wait a minute, I'm back in the loop again. So I said, I better ask this question today.
Okay. Yes, thank you. Thank you for the question. All right. Let me tell you a little story. Okay. When I was in second grade, I was always a huge human. Okay.
Mhm.
Especially like in Venezuela, where people are not as tall, let's say, as in the US. I was always
Mhm.
kind of like twice the size of everybody in my class, except for one kid who's still my friend to this day. But I was a big second grader, and we were at a party, and this girl, and there was like three people in a hammock, right? And and I wanted to get into the hammock, but then this girl, her name was Rosana, second grade. Okay, she goes, "No, James, you can't get in. You're too big." So my second grade mind, I was kind of like sad about it, sad about that situation, right? That I couldn't get in with the others because I was too big. And so okay, so I always kept, for some reason, I was never able to forget that or release that thought or that situation, right? Okay. Move forward 40 years. I get a Facebook message from Rosana, from the same girl that I still had this thought about. And she goes to me and she goes, "Oh, James, I've seen that you're a writer now and you're writing about how you can shift your perceptions to find peace." And I go, "Yes, yes, yes, I'm doing that right now. And how are you doing?" And she goes, "Well, I'm having a miserable time here in Peru, and I'm depressed about being here. And I think that if I move to the U.S., I'm gonna be much happier, and have more peace. And then I go to her, well, the thing is that wherever you go, you're going to carry what's within you. Okay? So if you're depressed in Peru, you're going to carry that depression to the US. Okay? If you're having issues with people in Peru, guess what? You're going to have issues with people in the US. Okay? If you're miserable there, guess what? When you go somewhere else, you're still going to be miserable. So the idea that I presented to her and offered to her, and she accepted, was to try to fix the way she was thinking about her situation and the individuals involved in Peru. And then she was able to go ahead and get some therapy, start to shift her perceptions, maybe a little bit through the stuff that I wrote. And she was able to start healing her relationships and her way of thinking. Okay, and now she's married in Peru and happy in Peru, and you know, nothing changed other than her mind. Okay, and so it's not Peru, it's not China that makes you miserable. It's your thoughts about China that make you miserable. Okay.
Oh, but I'm not miserable in China. It's my children.
Exactly.
It's
That's what I'm
but
getting to that.
oh,
Right?
okay.
So what we want to teach our children is that we can find a place of peace, a place of joy wherever we are. It doesn't matter about the location. In fact, if they're feeling miserable in China, it's a great opportunity to practice having them see that it's not about the location, it's about their state of mind. Okay, so they don't have to work on changing locations. They have to work on changing their state of mind about what's going on in China, in their school. Okay, because if they're able to go from a place of misery inside their minds to a place of some sort of peace and joy about their situation, then you're giving them a lifelong tool. You know, you don't have to. You're not giving them that story that if they don't like their situation, they have to run away from it, or they have to change locations or to find some level of peace. No, if you're there in China, you're there for a reason. Okay, and so they're there for a reason, and this is an opportunity for them to practice seeing how much control they have over their own thoughts, and so help them maybe through some therapists in China, through some reading here and trying to implement it, find ways for them to think about their situation in a more positive light. Find ways for them to trust God more in their experience in life. Have them start doing little exercises that can bring them a little more joy. Or have them before school go into the day with certain goals set, like maybe try to be friendlier to the kids in class, or try to have a little more courage in being somebody who leads others to joy. You know, little things that can start to shift their way of thinking, and little by little, as they shift their way of thinking, and as they see that they have the power over their misery or their joy. The school doesn't have the power over their misery. China doesn't have the power over their misery or joy. They have the power. They have to practice shifting the way they're thinking about their situation, and that's part of your process in that as their mother, is to practice helping them shift the way they're thinking about their situation. And so if you're able to teach your children that they have the power to experience joy and peace, it's not about the environment, it's not about the schools, it's not about the people around them. They can find ways to more peaceful and joyful life. It takes a little reshifting of the thinking, but the power resides within them. And if you're able to teach them, if they're able to go to a place of peace and joy in their experience in China, then they can find peace and joy anywhere, in whatever situation in their future. because they're going to remember, wait a second, the choice for peace and joy is in my mind. It's nowhere outside of me. Nobody else has power over my peace of mind and joy. I do. The way I think creates my peace of mind and joy. And so, yes, it's not the easy answer. It says, hey, okay, leave China, go back to the Philippines. That's quote unquote the easy answer, but it's not the best answer. Is do your best to try to find a place of peace and joy inside your mind in regards to your current situation. And if you're able to start shifting that to a place of peace and joy in your children, which I know 13 and 15 is not an easy age for for any child. Okay, teenagers, I get it. Okay, but if you're able to teach them that they have the power over the thoughts they think and thus over their experience, I mean, there's nothing greater than you can teach a child that they control their how they feel about certain situations. And so, yes, that would be my recommendation, but you guys can do whatever you want.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. I think I've been struggling myself this past 2 years about it, and I was kind of dragging my feet, but now I've kind of personally found ways to find joy myself. But I think the challenge now for me is to take it level higher and be able to pass that on to my kids. But the challenge is I've been guilty of yeah, let's hope for there's hope to return. There's that thing which I think has been detrimental has because it just gives them the false hope. Oh yeah, if we return, it's gonna be okay. Um, and it solves the problem. But the thing is, we were not addressing the issue here and inside ourselves. So thank you very much for that message. And I think that's why I was finally prompted to ask you. Thank you very much, James.
Thank you. Yes, it's such a beautiful tool that you're going to be able to offer your children, that understanding that they have the power inside of them. That joy and peace is not a function of the outer world. It's a function and a reflection of your inner world. And so you just find little ways to find a little more joy. Maybe tell them, okay, let's be a little more. Let's say they're having issues with the kids in China because the kids in China think differently than the kids in the Philippines. Let's say, or maybe they're not as friendly. I'm not aware of any of that, but let's just say that, right? And so ask your child, okay, let's be a little more courageous today, and let's be the first one to say hi to people, and be the first one to try to bring some joy to somebody, or to tell somebody a joke or whatever. And so little by
Hey,
little, you build that self
yeah.
courage to be the conduit to joy, the conduit to peace. Maybe find a
Mm.
kid in school that seems like he or she is having a bad day, and sit with them, and maybe uh, say something nice to them or what have you.
James, because the
Yes.
the issue of the 15-year-old, he has a lot of friends in school. He has friends and everything, but his issue is the school hours are too long. And the subjects are because he doesn't have the same number of Chinese characters that he knows as his classmates. It's very frustrating for him not knowing, being able to read everything and being able to write. So because you need to know thousands of Chinese characters. It's a crazy language. So, and I keep telling him, oh, but you have so many, you have friends, your friends, you go out, and isn't it nice? Like I thought it would be, it could compensate for the long school hours, blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't seem to. He's still like miserable.
Yeah. So we just have to find ways to help them deal with with that kind of challenge.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how therapy is in China. Uh, but I know that in US they have individuals that are called cognitive behavioral therapists, And these therapists help you change the way you're thinking and the way you're doing things to help you have a little more peace or have a little more joy or feel more in control of your situation. And so maybe there's those type of therapists in China, and they can give the kid, the 15-year-old kid, certain tips on how to deal with that sense of frustration. Like, let's say I'm feeling frustrated because I'm in school for too long. Okay, I'm feeling frustrated right now because I feel like I'm in school too long. Okay, that's a thought. Okay, that's a thought that I'm having. Okay, now I have two choices. I can keep on thinking that thought and get more and more frustrated. Okay, feel more and more frustrated and feel it like the time is slowing down because I'm so focused on the time and frustration. Okay, or I can use those moments to say, you know what, I'm here. Okay, I'm just going to put my future in God's hands and say, God, since I'm here already, I'm just going to do my best to learn or enjoy this, being in the situation and enjoy it. Okay, so you see, you're in a situation where the ego is leading you to further frustration because your thoughts are directed in that way, right? But what if you take control of your mind and say, okay, I'm going to be here. I might as well enjoy it. I might as well find some joy in these next couple hours, because my other response is going to be frustration. So let me find a way to bring a little joy to the classroom, or make somebody laugh, or try to learn something new. And so your thoughts are going to take you to the darkness, to further darkness, or they're going to help you shorten that time by being joyful and happy and grateful that you even have the possibility to be in a classroom. Okay, because it's not a right for all the children in the world. They don't have, a classroom, being in a school is a beautiful thing, an opportunity and gift. So again, your child needs to learn that he has control over his thoughts, and if he keeps on uh, thinking towards darkness, towards being frustrated, towards feeling that it's taking too long, then he's just going to slowly dissolve into the darkness. But if he's able to take control of his thoughts, anytime the ego tries to make him frustrated because he's thinking that he's taking too long in school, or hours are too long, okay, that's fine. But where do you want to be in those next few hours? Because you're still going to be there, right? You're still going to be in school. So are you going to be in school in the darkness, or are you going to be in school and being a symbol of light inside of you? And so it's just a challenge. We all have challenges, and that's his challenge right now. And he can get to a really beautiful place if he learns to take control of his thinking and lead and help him lead himself to a place of peace in regards to his situation, and not to further frustration.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Thank you, James.
Thank you. And we'll pray for your children.
Oh, yes, I need that. Thank you.
Yes, teenagers. Let's pray for all teenagers and all moms of teenagers. Okay. Any other comments or questions in regards to releasing certain personal blocks to the awareness of the beautiful opportunity that we're being offered in life to grow, heal, and awaken? Any examples of people being stuck in judgment in the last week? Let's see. How are you doing, Roberta? Are you there? Or Wendy, or Lori, or Christina?
Yes,
Yeah, I'm here.
yes, I'm here.
Okay. How was your last week, Roberta? We'll start with Roberta.
It was challenging. I been trying to keep my peace with my daughter. She, one way she's doing good, and then the other way ego throws a challenge there. She's on medication to help her depression, which is good. She took that step by herself, but then she mixes alcohol with it. So I'm thinking I can protect her or be on the lookout, but I really can't. And she's been having boundary issues at my son's house where we live. So she decided to move. And I'm trying to let it go. And the Holy Spirit lead from there and say it's okay. Maybe that's the path that she needs. But it's good practicing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we know that alcohol is a depressant, right?
Yes.
So if you have depression and you're drinking alcohol, it's not going to help.
All right.
It's only going to bring you deeper into the darkness, right? And so, is she open at all to like meditation and yoga and something that would help her, like exercise? Let's say exercise. It's been proven that exercise is equally as good as medications when it comes to depression and that kind of thing. Is she open to exercising?
Yes, yeah, she does that, but not the meditation or yoga or the type of therapy that I would like her to go to. Because she goes to a cognitive therapy, which
Okay.
is fine, but you're just talking about your issues and then you're listening to them. There's no change. I was telling her about DBT or behavioral, different types, or even my Choose Again, which is Course in Miracle based. And but she's not open to it. So I stopped because, as parents, the more you push, the more they'll push back. So I just let it go and try to accept her and offer love the way she is, but also place boundaries at the same time.
Yeah. Does she have a boyfriend you can talk to, or some friends of hers that you can talk to in regards to her situation?
Yes, one friend and she does listen to her, but I think the friend is starting to notice as well. So maybe she's making boundaries herself. And she's a young girl like her, so I don't want to put that on her. But yes, she does check in with her.
Yeah, because you know how it is with kids and young people. They don't listen to parents that often.
No,
How old is your child?
she's 23.
Yes. So she's still quite young. So yeah, and your friend, her friend is probably in that age group, right? 23 or so.
Yes, but they don't
Yes.
know.
So yes. So if you can find out ways to talk to her friend about strategies to help your daughter out, your daughter might probably listen to her friend, more than you will, you know. And
Yes,
so
thank you.
yeah, so definitely include your friend. Sorry, her friend in what's going on, and whatever good advice you have for your daughter, maybe you can give it to your daughter's friend, and maybe your daughter's friend can run it by her, And
Yeah,
sometimes, young people just listen to their friends more than their parents. So
sure. Yes,
yes,
thank you.
yeah, and yes, and keep keep trusting in the divine design. Keep practice praying for your daughter and her situation. And how much does she exercise? Does she do that every day, or
Oh, no, about 3 or 4 times a week she goes.
okay? And does she say she feels better when she exercises?
Mm, she doesn't, but she seems to be a little bit better when she does.
Did you guys get? Are you divorced, and did it start then, or when did the depression stuff start?
It started in her. She was more of a daddy's girl. Then he moved to Florida, And that's when I think she just been, and she's an introvert. So I think she carries everything inside. So then it started at 16. She said that she started having anxiety. She went to see a therapist and it was fine. But then when she went to college, she seemed okay. When she returned home, that's when all this stuff with alcohol. If when she drinks, her emotions come out and all the issues that she doesn't want to deal with and she doesn't want to talk about with anyone, and she's scared of feeling, it sidetracks her. So then it comes out in the alcohol. And try to explain that to her that it's going through it that actually is, and I don't tell her, I model, like the course says, model for them. So I go through my own stuff and I show her how, I go through my own emotions and it helps me. And then I don't have to be so scared of them anymore and to trust my inner self in hopes that she can do that for herself. And it has helped. It's been like 3 years, but it's still up and down with her.
Okay, and how's her relationship now with her dad?
Oh, non-existent.
Okay, so
She's upset at him.
yeah,
Yeah.
she thinks that he left her, basically, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And she done great though. She even invited him last year or the year before to her New York apartment for a weekend. That was a big step for her to do that, to actually put herself out there, and then he just never did it, never followed through. So on top of it, you're not there for her, and then she takes a step forward, and he still didn't follow through. So I guess that plays more into her belief about herself.
Right. Yeah. How's her relationship with God and Christ and that kind of thing?
She says she's agnostic. She doesn't, but she's more of a science person. But she started to listen a little bit more to what I say. 'Cause she's been saying, "Oh, the universe. Oh, look what happened. Oh, this." And when positive things happen, or a different way, or when things don't go as planned, even if it was a bad, like she didn't get to go out because of the weather or something, and she's like, "Oh wow, look, that's the universe." So she's opening to it when I say it's the universe.
Yeah, she's opening herself up to, let's say, trusting the divine design, so to speak.
Yes.
Yes. Um, yes. And how is she with forgiveness?
um, I guess she only forgives maybe me. I don't think I've seen her forgive. Maybe with males, she's not like with her brother. She doesn't forgive as easy. She holds grudges because of her dad, the
Right.
same way.
Yeah.
With me, she's more because when I made a mistake during parenting, I always told her I'm sorry. Mommy didn't mean to yell. I didn't mean to say that, and I explained why I reacted that way because I didn't do it with my son. So I always made sure I did that with her, and so with me, her friends, she's very forgiving with all her friends and everyone else, and she supports them. She had a friend that committed suicide. She was always there for him through his mental health. But when it comes to forgiving herself or forgiving her dad or brother, she does not. She does not bend. Like she won't budge on that one. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously, the origin of that is not being able to forgive her father
Yeah.
for leaving her, basically. And now she takes it out on all men, and now she's very unforgiving towards men because of that 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 un, that being unable to forgive her father, right?
Yeah.
And then if she's not able to forgive her father, then she thinks that she's unworthy of herself being forgiven, you know.
Yep.
And so
And
she,
she replayed it. She replayed that same story with her first boyfriend she moved in with, and everything was going okay. But the same thing, he just couldn't. He had needs. he had his own issues. He had cancer when he was young, and his mother wasn't there for him. So they each had their own dynamics. So she took it personal as well, the breakup, because he wanted her to be there all the time for him. But she's like, I'm not your mother. I still have school, I have 2 jobs, and so forth. So that breakup was a bit harder too. So everything was males for her.
Yeah, so she basically unconsciously she helped sabotage the relationship to prove to herself that she's unworthy of that kind of relationship with the male figure. So she's
Yes.
just repeating that pattern, the father pattern with the boyfriend and the upcoming boyfriends, and sabotaging those relationships so that she can prove to herself unconsciously that yeah, it's true that she's not worthy of having a loving relationship with a man, and that the man will sooner or later leave her. And so she's got to practice, well, hopefully maybe in therapy, she's got to practice no matter what the ego tells her about her father, no matter how the father reacts, her response to the father has to be forgiveness.
Yes.
It's forgiveness. It's not like Course in Miracles says forgiveness is really for yourself, right? And so when you're forgiving, when you're forgiving the father, you're unconsciously telling yourself that you are worthy of forgiveness. And so when you make mistakes, it's okay to forgive yourself. But it's not going to happen unless when she thinks about her father, she forgives her father by remembering, and hopefully the therapist reminding her that people do the best they can with whatever emotional and spiritual tools they have available to them in that moment. And so as badly as the ego would say that the father is behaving towards her, and it's not the let's say it's not the best when it comes to this world, right? Okay.
Mhm.
But the father, no matter what the ego says about the father's doing the best he can in those moments. He doesn't have those emotional tools to help him do the right thing right now, or he's being controlled by other stuff maybe.
All
Uh,
right.
and so your daughter's primary response to the father, no matter what the ego tells her to think about the father, has to be forgiveness. Forgive them,
Yes.
remember Christ on the cross. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. Okay, so Christ, when he was being crucified, forgave those who were crucifying him, because he knew that those who were crucifying him didn't know what they were truly doing.
Yeah.
And so your daughter has to come to a place inside her heart and inside of her mind where her only response to her father, no matter what her father's behavior is forgiveness and compassion and mercy and grace. And if he can't show up, he can't show up. And you just have to say, well, maybe this is part of the divine design, and I'm going to forgive him, and I'm not going to place that judgment on further male figures that come into my life. From now on, I'm going to allow into my life people who I know are going to do the best they can to make the relationship work out. And I'm not going to sabotage it unconsciously because I have now decided to forgive my father. And so, yes, if she wants to stop sabotaging relationships or start feeling like she's unworthy of relationships, she's got to work with the main cause of that depression and alcohol and all that stuff. It's the father leaving, right?
Yes. Thank
And
you.
yeah, unless she forgives that, the depression and the medication and the alcohol and all that stuff is going to continue. And it's
Can I,
not, and remember, the father's behavior is not about her. His behavior
Yes.
is not about her and how quote unquote worthy or unworthy she is. It's about him. That's his issues. That's
Yeah,
his.
that's how I would love for her to see it that way. Like, it's nothing to do with you. I shared that with her too, because I had the same unworthiness regarding my mother. And I just realized it's not about me. It's about my mom. She had a tough upbringing and she had a hard life. And that's just how it played out in this life between her and I. But I let go and forgave. So that's how I would love my daughter to see that it's not about her worthiness, nothing to do with her lovability. But hopefully one day she'll figure it out.
Yeah, could I
Yes,
say something? That's
yes,
gonna
please.
take,
Sure.
yeah, that's gonna take her time because that's gonna take her time. It's really traumatic. I know that was my story. It's very
Uh-huh.
traumatic for a daughter not to have a father. So what she's doing is she's just trauma bonding with other men that are just gonna do the same thing. So she really needs some therapy. She needs therapy.
Yeah, she's
So
in
she's
therapy, but
using
not the right therapy. Well, I
she needs
think I shouldn't
she
be
needs
judging it,
trauma.
but
Yeah, she needs trauma therapy, and she needs AA. She needs to go to AA and get a sponsor, and if she's willing to do that. But she's going to do that when she's ready. No matter what you want, she's going to do that
correct.
when she's ready. So that's their journey. I know it hurts because I have a son that also uses drugs, and I just had to let him go. And so far he's doing okay. He's doing okay, but you have to set up those boundaries too, because otherwise you're just enabling that behavior. So
Correct. Yeah, and then, that I do not
you-
want to do. That's why
yeah,
it's okay. It's better for her to move since she broke the
yeah,
rules
yeah. She'll
many
be okay.
times. Yeah, she'll be fine. She's
She'll be
capable.
fine. Yeah, you've got to what I did. I just gave my son to God. I said, God, I give him to you. Whatever happens to him, you're in control. And it might sound horrible, but if he has to die, well, that's just the way that it's got to be. There's you got no control over any of this.
Correct.
So I
Over
just left
anyone.
him in
We
God's
have free
hands.
will.
I
Yes.
left it. Yeah, you've got to just leave it in God's hands, and sometimes you've got to let go. You've just But when she reaches a rock bottom, if she ever reaches a rock bottom, then she'll get the help that she needs. And sometimes people don't ever reach their rock bottom, but that's you did the best that you could, and this is her life now, and she can live her life any way that she wants to live it. I do trauma work. I'm a trauma specialist, and I'm certified in addictions and in a lot of areas. So, this is what domestic violence, this is what I do every day for a living. So,
Yeah.
Mhm. You just pray for her and do the best that you can. And she has to, the relationship she has with her father is between her and her father. Because my ex-husband left my kids when I divorced him, but that's their relationship with him. That has nothing to do with me. They're grown. They need to go and sort that out with their father. You understand what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
that's their relationship. You've got your relationship with her, and she's got her relationship with him, and they've got to work that relationship out between themselves. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard.
Mm.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Yes, thank you, Lori. And yeah, maybe if she would be willing to listen to this class, it'll be up on the YouTube site tomorrow. Listen to it with you, because these are people who care about her, even though we don't know her. And as the Bible calls it generational curses. When the daughters repeat the
Yeah.
mothers and the fathers' behavior, and so this is basically what happened. You had your behavior with your mom, and now she's having her behavior with her father. And so the only way to break these curses is by facing them, right?
Right.
And
Mhm.
what happens even before even before you're born, you come into this world, and you make a decision to experience certain levels of darkness in order to understand them and help others heal. Okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so your daughter, before
Mhm.
she was born, she understood that she was coming into an environment where she would be left by her father. Okay. And so at the highest level, she knew this was going to happen because she wanted to experience this. And obviously, she chose you as a mother because you had that kind of experience too. And so she's experiencing this darkness so that she can be able to heal it and transform it from a dark place to a light place, and then help others heal. And so I don't know what she's studying in college, but being a trauma, maybe part of her life experience would be to find a place inside of her to become a trauma therapist, because she has that life experience. Okay. And so as she begins to heal herself and her situation with her father, and she gets that life experience in her tool belt, and whatever it is that she's studying, I don't know what she's studying, but she might want to look towards the possibility of becoming a therapist, a trauma therapist.
Fun. That's what she's going to do. She's getting her law degree to run a nonprofit for domestic violence and other types of things.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, so that's what she's going to get into sooner or later. She's going to get into finding ways to heal this kind of situation. And so part of her mission in life is to go through this process and just understand, okay, even before I was born, I chose the situation. I chose my father because I knew my father was going to leave me, because I was going to learn certain life lessons from the situation. And then once I'm able to heal from this situation, from this loss, I'll be able to heal other people who are going through that same type of trauma. And then when she starts to help other people heal who are going through who are going through what she's going through, then she'll see why the father left in the first place. And then she'll come to a place of peace in regards to the father, because the father was the person who helped her find her place in life, her purpose in life. And so it's a sacred circle. The ego cannot see the sacred circle, but there's a sacred circle in both all our life experiences. And this she's going to use for good. But right now she doesn't know, she doesn't have the tools to process the situation. And that's why she needs, that trauma therapist that Lori was talking about might be very useful for her. And if she's open to that, then she's going to learn a lot from that. And she's going to be able to have a lot of tools for the future.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lori.
Welcome.
Yes. So if possible, if she's up for it, maybe see this with her and say, we're all praying for her. And she's going to get through this. She's going to be able to heal her depression. She's going to be able to forgive her father, and she's going to be able to help others heal thanks to her life experience.
Okay. Thank you. A lot of gratefulness.
Yes. And yes, get her friend involved with this too. And maybe all three of you see it together. Maybe they'll talk about it later on, and who knows, maybe a little crack in the armor, a little light coming through will awaken her to the possibility of healing, and that there is better ways to deal with the kind of situation instead of the medications and the alcohol and all the anxiety producing behavior.
Yes. Hopeful. Thank you.
Yes, very hopeful. There's a lot of hope. It is possible.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. All right. Wendy or Lori, any situation this week that you're looking for a little bit of light, a little crack of light? Or Mary, or Isabel, or Annabelle?
Well, I have a neighbor that, we were pretty close at one time. And then she just kind of started getting distant, and it really bothered me. And I was really meditating on it this week, asking Holy Spirit, to forgive her. And why did she do that? I didn't do it any wrong. I was always there trying to help her and whatever. And it's funny because Liz, in our class on Sunday, she messaged me today and she said, Holy Spirit, or whatever it is she gets, as a message for you. And she said to me, and I spoke to her today, and she said, the neighbor, and I have two neighbors. I have one on one side who's like the neighbor from hell, but I don't think this wasn't, the message wasn't about her. I knew exactly who the message was about. And she said, your neighbor feels like you think that you're better than she is. And I was like, wow, isn't perception just something? And I said, yeah, I knew it was her, you know, and I was always helping her and always trying to encourage her and whatever. And I said, you know, I'm so glad that Spirit gave me that, because it's been really bothering me for a long time, you know. So I said, I guess it's time for me to just really just back off. So, you know, you can't you have no control of what people feel about you, you know. If they feel that you're good is, you know, you're doing good, and it's something they look at it as something negative. So, you know, I realized that that's something within her. So it was good that I got that message, because it's like I said, it's been really bothering me, you know. So, any insight?
Yes. Yes. Okay. If Liz told you that, then it might be a good thing to, you know, talk with your neighbor. You know, the one who might think that you think that you're better than her, kind of thing, and just tell her, listen, I like to. It makes me happy to help others, and so whenever I'm helping you or giving you anything, it's from a place of love. It's not because
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
think that I'm better than you. So you bring that thought out into the conversation, saying it's not because I think I'm better than you or anything. It's just because it makes my heart happy when I help others. And so I just wanted you to know that. I just want you to know that when I help you, it makes me happy. So when I get to help you, you're in essence helping me too, because you're bringing
Right.
joy and purpose to my life. And so I just wanted to mention that.
But you know, sometimes, you know, for me, if God brings somebody to give me, you know, to help me with something, or to you know, like, just say I'm gonna do some work around my house, and they give me a good recommendation because they know that I like quality work. And she knows that. Like, she'll ask me, and then she'll go get some. She'll ask me, well, if can you recommend someone? Because she said, I know you like things done properly. But it's like she resents it when I get, you know, when I give it people, do you know? And and I'm the type of person, if God sends somebody to teach me something or to uplift me, I'm willing to take whatever they've got. I mean, you know, that's to me, that's a blessing. Someone comes with wisdom, I'm willing to suck up all their wisdom, you know, because in life, there's not too many people that are willing to give you just out of the goodness of their heart, whether it's advice or whatever, you know, or, you know, help you save some money or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? There's not too many people that will do that. So when people do things for me, I'm always very grateful, you know. But you know, other people are different. So that message just helped me just to move forward, because it was really holding me back and really bothering me, you know. So now I'm like, well, it's okay.
Yeah, but do talk to her and do mention it to her that, you know, when you do help her out, it makes you happy, and that she's also serving you by you allowing her to help her, and that
Yeah.
you're not thinking in any way that you're better than her. So just so
Well,
that
I'm not.
yeah, no,
I
I,
don't.
I know,
I
but
don't actually. I don't.
yeah,
That
but yeah, just so that she knows that, you know, because you know we all have our own past trauma,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah. I know she's got her trauma too, because she had a rough upbringing like I did. But that's totally not me, because I feel I'm not even as good as anybody else. I really do. The inside of me feels that other people are better than me. So I don't know how people could, maybe the way I carry myself, it comes across that way. But the inside of me is not like that. But I won't be talking to her anytime soon. But if I ever get the opportunity, I will.
You'll get the opportunity.
Yeah.
Yes, and when you do, just, you know, just mention that to her. Tell her,
Yeah.
and just and offer her gratitude. Say thank you for allowing me to help you, because it really helps me when I help others.
Bye.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. Can I say something,
yes,
Lori?
please. Yeah,
Well, what I'm hearing you say
It's some people gets better due to your advice or, you bring wisdom to the table. And it's so much appreciated. It's beautiful, but particularly when we request it, when it's asked.
Hmm.
And so many times you have this beautiful this wisdom and experience and so many things to add, but when we are not, because I include myself, when we are not ready to receive, when
Hmm.
we are not in the moment open for that advice, for that illumination and wisdom, it seems like we for some reason we have our overloaded, our head is overloaded with information, and if it depends, but if it comes with a little bit of energy, with this passion, because I wouldn't say with criticism, I would say it comes with passion, the way that it's suggested to do this and that. But as sensible as we other people are, like me, we may sense criticism, we may sense that it's coming across like what I'm doing is not that much of a value, that what you bring is better. I'm saying this because it happened to me very often with someone that I love dearly, and she brings a lot of good stuff to the table. But and I'm not many times I haven't asked, and she's already given the advice, right? So it doesn't give me the opportunity to become creative because we are doing a course, let's say Tony Robbins, and we have a lot of exercise to do together and stuff. But then she already has the ideas, and because she already done the program before, I'm new, so I'm coming up with my own ideas, my own inspiration, my own vision, and I feel cut off of those ideas, vision, and creativity when she start giving me the ideas already. So yes, I get better. It's a lot of value of her connecting, and letting me know also about the things that has been working for her, stuff like that. So I think we both should be allowed to some space, both parties to be allowed in a space of one is granting, appreciating the space of your wisdom, and the other one is asking, can I give you this advice, or can I share with you this? Can I give you my 2 cents? Because yeah, it can be disappointing. I get it. It can be disappointing to you, Lori, giving this wisdom, this enlightenment, like when they are maybe not ready to receive. For example, we are
Right.
here voluntarily.
Yeah.
We are connecting with James. We're
Yeah.
connecting with you, everybody. We are here like 100%. Either we show our faces or not. But our heart, our mind wants this. We are hungry of this wisdom. We really want to listen you and anybody else that for with their examples, good, bad, whatever is bringing some lessons. So
Yeah.
but not
Yeah.
everybody like that outside.
Yeah, I
So
agree. But it's hard when you're in a conversation with somebody and the person is strong on their point. It's okay for them to say what they feel, but then they don't want to hear what you have to say,
mm,
They can
yeah,
tell
it
you
could
what
be.
they want. Like she brought me a dress, right? The dress was really ugly, okay? No, the dress is really. I would never buy
Yeah.
somebody a dress. If I buy somebody a gift, I'm going to know what you like. But she brought me this dress. Actually, it was too big, and it was ugly. I wouldn't have worn it. But I didn't tell her that. I just said, "Oh, it's a little bit big." But if it was there, I gave it to her. She would have told me I don't like that. But I told her, well, it's a little bit too big. So I think she got offended by that. But first of all, I never asked you to buy me the dress. Don't just pick clothes for me because you know, you know. But if it was the shoe was on the other foot, she would have had no problem saying, I don't like that. I don't like that because she'll say that. Oh, I don't like that, or I don't eat this, or I don't. You know. So that's. But it's okay. It's
Yeah,
okay.
just keep focusing on yourself and
Yeah.
coming from a place of love
Yeah.
and gratitude, and you will have peace and
Yeah.
forgiveness, so that you can have
Yeah.
peace.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right,
Because
thank
I know.
you,
Yeah.
Isabel.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lori. Any
Okay.
any final comments or questions before we close?
So we're done. I wanted to say something, but
Yes, go ahead, man.
I can wait till Wednesday's class.
Oh, that's fine. I mean, go ahead.
No, it's just that I had mentioned to you on Sunday that we had a death in the family, and it's been really hard. So hard. So any words of wisdom that you can shoot my way, I would appreciate it.
Yes, first you have to feel your feelings, okay? So however it is that you feel about what happened, feel it. It's okay. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to have resentment or frustration or whatever. Okay? Feel your feelings. Give yourself the time to feel your feelings, but then after you felt your feelings, practice trusting God more and saying, God, I know there's a purpose for everything under the sun. There's like that beautiful song says, well, actually, it's actually a verse in the Bible that became a song. There's a time for peace, a time for life, time to dance. I forget what that verse is, but I think you might have heard that song before.
Yeah,
Yes,
time to
yes,
sow, a time to
yes.
reap, a time to, yeah.
There you go. There you go. Yes. And so, yes, feel whatever it is you're feeling. Don't judge yourself for feeling it. Pray for everybody involved in the situation and trust God. And know that your brother or sister or that person is okay. And just pray for them. And tell them that you'll pray for them and that you'll see them when the time comes. You'll see them again. And so, yes, feel your feelings, but after that, practice using your time to align with the truth in you, which is love, which is peace, and which is trust in the divine, and use those moments to trust God more and say, God, I trust you.
And allow yourself to go through the stages of grief, Mary. There are stages of grief, and it's going to take you time. So you can go online and look up the stages of grief. Allow yourself to go through that, and you're going to grieve as long as you need to grieve. I mean, I'm still grieving over my pit bull dying, and that's almost it's going on like 6, 7 months. So everybody's grieving time is their time. So be okay to grieve, and like James said, feel your feelings. That's okay.
And finally, before we hang up, Wendy, I sent you a text in WhatsApp for the address for tomorrow, just to make sure, because I'm gonna leave the house super early, and I want to make sure that we're going to the right location. Thank you so much, everyone. And yes, it's I'm gonna. I've been praying a lot,
Can I
but
say
it's
something?
but it's yes, of course, Isabel. You're
Oh, yes,
welcome.
Mary.
And by the way, thank you for kissing my forehead and my on Sunday. It was
Oh,
very healing, and you didn't know
oh,
what was happening. And
oh,
let me just go ahead and say what has happened is, um, my husband's nephew passed away on Father's Day. My ex-husband. If I said my husband, I'm sorry. Um, and my son is very affected
mm,
because he loved him very much, and he was very young. He was 34, and he had been struggling since 29, so about for 5 years. He got shot. He went to, and I'm sorry that I'm taking so much time because it's 8 o'clock, but just to let everybody know so that at least they're not wondering. He went to a George Floyd demonstration, and he got shot twice, and
oh,
he almost died, and it was a very bad recovery, and he didn't quite recover after that. Everything spiraled down. Physically, he deteriorated. Mentally, he deteriorated, and it was just a very his body, and his mind and his spirit and just everything. It's so hard to listen to my sister-in-law tell me everything for someone so young, and my son is 32. They were only two years apart. it's heartbreaking. So thank you, Isabel. Go.
Yeah, I hear you. I hug you. I kiss you again in your forehead and in your cheeks, and I hug you deeply, very close to my chest. One of the things that at times still hurts is because we couldn't have the chance to say goodbye. That way we would like, to be. We were never ready sometimes to let go. So I was thinking on a way, that you could talk to him, to her, or whoever is a loved one, and to be very vulnerable and say, hey, I don't know how to begin to say goodbye because um, I don't know, but I want to tell you that you mean so much to me. The truth is I don't want to let you go because that's we're humans, we're human. We would like him to be here still because we are never ready. So you were the light in my life. You were the love of my life. You were someone so important, in my heart, and your presence, your voice, your laughter, the memories that we built together. The way you show your love, the way you were close to me. So several things that you can say to this person through the letter, and you can do like a little ceremony. Go with a letter to either a lake or a place that it's sacred to you, and say as a prayer, how much the person meant to you. And if anything to say, I'm sorry, say it. If any regrets, if any pain, any situation, apologize about it, which is a beautiful way of healing. And light a candle, an incense or something, have a moment of connection. Your higher self will connect with his higher self, and promise to meet in the dreams and give a hug to each other. And as Lorraine was saying, in the stages of grieving, you're still probably in denial. There is anger, there is moments which is okay. We're crying and we're still feeling our feelings of sadness, of despair, or any situation. Because we as humans, we tend to hold on, to attach to the physical and to the spiritual, to the love, to everything. We don't want to let go, and it's fine. So little by little, you will bargain. This depression, this crying, these tears will help you heal and come to a point of acceptance in God's time. So I want to say that quickly, and that I love you and I feel you. I will pray as well this evening
Thank you,
for
my
your
dear.
loved ones. Mhm.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, everyone, for letting me speak.
Yes. And as Isabel was saying, there's many ways you can do little rituals. Like, for example, let's say for you and or your son, you put 3 chairs in your bedroom at night, and you put a picture of the young man that passed in one of the chairs. You sit in the other chair in front of him, and then you put another chair for Christ or for God or for the Holy Spirit, and then you invite the Holy Spirit in, or you invite Christ in, and then you ask Christ to invite that young man in, and have the young man sit in that chair where his picture is, and there you speak to him and whatever things you haven't said to him that you needed to find closure with. And so you tell him, that you love him, that you were sorry you weren't able to say goodbye to him, but you're saying goodbye to him now. And then have your son say, listen, I'm going to do my best to honor your life and live in such a way that you're proud of me. When I see you again, you'll be proud of me. And so there's ways for you and for your son to begin the healing process. And that's one of the little rituals that you can do is just put those 3 chairs in your room, and then your son's room, and have your son speak to him in private, and tell him and have him say whatever he needs to say to find a certain level of closure. So yes, that's very useful. Because remember, the Course in Miracles says relationships don't end; they just change forms. Okay, so you'll see him again soon, and before then, he's got work to do up there, and you have work to do down here. And once your work is done down here, then you'll go up there and see him again. So it's not like you'll never see him again. You'll see him again in time.
In time.
In time, yes.
In time.
In divine time.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you, folks. Thank you, Wendy, Jennifer, Mike, Roberta, Lori, Joey, Isabel, Annabelle, and Mary.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you,
You too.
everyone.
Night.
Good night.
Night.
Good night.
Good
Beautiful
night.
evening.